Ender Dragon. Long before most players ever face it, the Ender Dragon already feels like a legend. Reaching the end takes patience more than anything else. You spend hours mining, searching abandoned strongholds, collecting Eyes of Ender, and slowly realizing that everything you've done has been leading to one place. Then the portal opens, and suddenly, the familiar world is gone. The sky is empty, the islands float in silence, and far above them, a massive dragon circles without ever seeming to hurry. The first encounter rarely feels like an ordinary boss fight. It feels like you've stepped into a place that was waiting for you long before you arrived. The battle itself asks for more than quick reflexes. Those glowing end crystals perched on towering obsidian pillars constantly heal the dragon, forcing you to deal with the arena before you can truly challenge its guardian. There are moments of panic when you're launched into the air, moments of relief when another crystal shatters, and finally, the quiet satisfaction of watching the dragon collapse into a burst of light. It's a victory players remember not only because of the experience it grants, but because it opens the rest of the end, revealing that this supposed finale is actually the beginning of another adventure. Enderman. There has always been something unsettling about the Enderman, even when it's doing absolutely nothing. It simply wanders, occasionally lifting a block from the landscape, as though following rules that only it understands. You can find one in the overworld, the Nether, or almost everywhere in the end. Yet no matter where it appears, it never quite feels like it belongs there. That quiet mystery has made it one of Minecraft's most recognizable creatures. Everything changes the instant your eyes meet its glowing purple stare. A piercing scream cuts through the silence, and suddenly the creature is everywhere at once, teleporting with alarming speed while closing the distance between you. Water becomes one of your few advantages, sending it scrambling away. But defeating an Enderman is rarely about brute strength alone. It's about staying calm when the unexpected happens. That simple mechanic, punishing curiosity with danger, turned an ordinary encounter into one of the most memorable experiences in the entire game. Endermite. Most players don't meet an Endermite until long after they've learned how Ender Pearls work, and even then it often appears by complete surprise. Every teleport carries a small chance of producing this tiny purple creature, making it feel less like a planned encounter and more like a strange accident hidden inside the game's mechanics. Small as it is, the Endermite immediately catches your attention because it seems connected to the end in ways the game never fully explains. Its real importance doesn't become obvious until players begin experimenting with more advanced farms. Endermen instinctively attack Endermites, and that single behavior became the foundation for some of the most efficient Enderman farms ever built. It's a perfect example of Minecraft's design philosophy. A mob that seems insignificant at first quietly becomes an essential piece of something much larger, rewarding players who enjoy understanding how the game's systems interact. Evoker. If most hostile mobs rely on strength, the Evoker relies on patience. Hidden inside woodland mansions and later appearing during village raids, it rarely rushes into danger. Instead, it watches from a distance, waiting for the right moment before unleashing attacks that can overwhelm even well-equipped players. Meeting one for the first time is often a surprise because nothing about its appearance immediately suggests how dangerous it really is. The ground suddenly erupts with rows of magical fangs, leaving little time to react, while ghostly vexes fill the air and refuse to give you a moment to recover. It's an encounter that quickly spirals into chaos if you underestimate it. That's exactly why the Totem of Undying feels so valuable. It isn't just a rare drop, it represents surviving one of Minecraft's smartest and most unpredictable enemies. Fox. Foxes brought a welcome sense of everyday life to Minecraft's forests. Instead of wandering aimlessly, they behave like curious wild animals, darting through the trees with quick movements before curling up to sleep once daylight settles over the landscape. Watching one nap beneath a spruce tree can be surprisingly peaceful after spending hours exploring dangerous caves. They're also wonderfully mischievous. A fox might grab an item lying on the ground and run off with it before you even realize what happened. Raise one from birth, though, and its behavior slowly changes. The young fox learns to trust the player, creating a relationship that feels earned rather than automatic. It's one of those quiet mechanics that adds personality without ever drawing attention to itself. Frog. Frogs transform swamps from places people simply pass through into places worth lingering. They hop between lily pads, drift toward the water's edge, and bring a gentle sense of movement to biomes that once felt strangely empty. Their appearance changes depending on where they grow from tadpoles, giving warm, temperate, and cold regions their own distinctive frogs without making the mechanic feel complicated. One of their most unexpected traits appears deep in the nether. When a frog swallows a tiny magma cube, it creates a frog light, a glowing, decorative block unlike anything else in the game. It's such a wonderfully strange idea that it somehow feels perfectly at home in Minecraft's world, where even the smallest creatures can produce something extraordinary through ordinary behavior. Ghast. The first warning usually isn't the creature itself, it's the sound. A distant mournful cry echoes through the nether long before a ghast comes into view, and for many players that noise alone is enough to create tension. Then you finally spot its enormous white body drifting across the lava-filled landscape, floating with an almost peaceful grace that completely disguises how dangerous it can be. Once it notices you, that calm disappears. Fireballs streak across the air, bridges suddenly become far more dangerous, and every step demands careful attention. Yet the ghast also creates one of Minecraft's most satisfying moments. Timing a swing perfectly and sending its own fireball back toward it never gets old. It's a simple mechanic, but it turns survival into something that feels genuinely skillful. Glow Squid. The glow squid doesn't light up caves the way many people expected, yet that almost makes it more interesting. Instead of acting like a moving lantern, it shimmers softly beneath the water, giving underground lakes an unusual sense of calm. In the darkness of lush caves, those gentle glowing patterns make the water feel alive in a way ordinary squids never could. Its glow ink sacs open new possibilities for builders, allowing signs to stand out with bright, glowing text. It's not the kind of feature that changes combat or progression, but it quietly expands the creative side of Minecraft. Sometimes that's exactly what a new mob needs to do. Not dominate the game, but make it a little more beautiful. Goat. Mountain peaks finally felt complete once goats arrived. They leap across cliffs with remarkable confidence, crossing gaps that most players would never attempt. Watching one scramble effortlessly over steep rock faces makes the landscape seem genuinely wild, as though these animals have lived there forever. Of course, goats have another side to their personality. Every so often, one lowers its head, charges without warning, and sends an unsuspecting player flying across the mountainside. It's funny right up until you're the one tumbling toward a ravine. Those unexpected moments give goats a charm that's difficult to describe. They feel unpredictable in exactly the right way, and the goat horns they sometimes leave behind only add to their unique identity. Guardian. Ocean monuments would lose much of their mystery without the guardians. These strange fish patrol the ancient structures with unwavering purpose, their single eye constantly tracking anything that enters their territory. The monuments themselves already feel forgotten by time, and the guardians reinforce the sense that whatever secrets lie inside are still being fiercely protected. Fighting one underwater is rarely comfortable. Their laser attack builds slowly before striking with surprising force, forcing players to stay alert while managing air, movement, and hostile surroundings all at once. Even experienced adventurers approach ocean monuments with caution because the challenge comes from more than just the enemies. It's the environment itself that turns every encounter into a careful test of preparation and patience.